special guest today. This is so exciting. We haven't had a guest on for a hot minute, and she is going to help us sort of weed through all of our questions and information that is just I don't want to say clouding our heads because there's so much information about health and wellness. And I was walking with my girlfriend this morning and we were talking about thank God that we're talking about women's bodies post 40, right? Like this was not a conversation, at least that I knew of, that my mom was having in her 40s with her friends. And, but also how frustrating that like all these symptoms and things that we experience were just deemed normal for so long. It's like, oh, that's normal for your age. But like, no, it's not normal to feel this way and to accept all of these changes without without any kind of understanding about what's going on. And so we talk a lot about health and fitness and how it relates to our mental health on this podcast. And so we're very excited to welcome a special guest, an exercise physiologist. I knew I was going to mess that up. And health coach. We have Heather Smith. So welcome, Heather.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
I
Thanks for
know.
inviting me.
And
I love your podcast. I'm a big fan already. I've only listened for a few episodes, but I'm a big fan.
well, thank
You guys are
you.
doing great work. Yeah, we have a good time with it for sure.
But tell us a little bit about yourself. How you got into this work, and really how you got started in exercise and health and wellness.
Yeah, I mean, so I've always loved fitness and activity. And I think I always say I was born like with get in shape girl leggings on, if you know what I mean, like the leg
Yes.
warmers, the sweatband. Like, I had the Barbie workout vinyl. We didn't call it vinyls. It was just my record collection, but
Yeah.
so I was born wanting to lead people in health. I mean, I
Mm.
really do want
Mm-mm.
to say that kind of to be silly, but really, for really, it's true.
Yeah.
And so I always loved to ride my bike, like lead workouts for my baby dolls and my stuffed animals. And I don't know. When I was a kid, when I was really little, my mom used to take me to the church basement to the aerobics class where, we would wear like tights and leotards for our
Mm-hmm.
workouts. And I would be up around and like, I just love the environment. I sponged it up. And my parents kind of taught me like, okay, like you need to take care of yourself. It's still, it's important and you don't have to be fanatical, but you need to have good habits. And so that was instilled in me young, which is kind of rare for
Amazing.
an Appalachian. Like usually we're
Yeah.
like, yeah, just forget about it. Like all the sugar, like who cares about our weight? I mean, I can
Yeah.
say that because it's my people,
Right.
but
Mhm,
you know,
mhm.
I'm a little bit of an odd one there, I think. When I went to school for exercise physiology, I said, this is my jam. I am so convicted about helping people. I had a career in campus recreation, worked in corporate wellness for a little while.
Okay.
And then, really, at some point, I just felt like I was a little bit helpless. I needed something more, something different to be able to get personal with people, to really help, especially women, to dial into their bodies and to feel their best. I just felt like I had a calling, honestly, to connect with people and help make a difference in their health, which we know has a ripple effect in every other area of our lives. And
Mm-hmm.
when I became a mother, I have two daughters, 11 and 14. That was a game changer for me because I knew a couple things needed to happen. I needed to transition my career so I could have more flexibility, more autonomy.
Mm-hmm.
Needed to step away from full time work because we know babies don't keep, right?
That's right.
Girls are moms.
Yes.
So I needed to make that change for myself, but I also still felt really convicted about staying in the wellness space
Yeah.
and helping people. So that's when I started my coaching business. It's been wow, gosh, over 10 years now. I've been coaching
Wow.
and I really do love it. So it's where I
It's
am.
just like independent private practice, right? You just opened up your own private
Yeah.
consulting kind of like I guess not consulting,
hmm
but
Yeah. I
wellness.
just do lifestyle coaching, wellness
Okay.
coaching. And so some people come for weight loss. Some people come because they feel like crap. Some people come to me because they're working out and they need to dial in. A lot of people come to me because they are so dang busy that the traditional workouts that are an hour long and you have to drive to the gym and you have to dress in your workout gear just aren't fitting anymore. And then so they get sort of a cycle of inconsistency and then sort of shame and blame that they're not doing enough and they're not home with the kids enough. They feel guilty. They're dipping out of work to try to get a workout in. And then They also are tired because they're burning the candle at both ends, and so they're eating like crap, and they need someone to help to add a little structure and accountability with nutrition. So, those are the kind of the reasons that people come to me. So, I don't
Okay.
know if that answered your
It
question, but
does.
just gotta help people.
I love how you describe yourself as always being within that space and then recognizing that when you were at a point of transition that you needed to kind of take that leap for yourself
Mm,
and for your family, and
mhm.
that your passion was able to grow even brighter because you were able to craft it, giving your skills, your desires, your motivation to reach people. And I just think that that's a beautiful thing that you were willing to do, even though it was probably pretty scary at first. We always talk about taking jumps and making changes in our lives. And whenever I get an opportunity to hear that, I'm always like, wow, great job.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, I was scared to death. Like,
Hmm.
really, I'm gonna walk away from, a 401k and a consistent, reliable job and, a big team of people that relied on me. Like, that was really freaking scary.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But I knew, and I had a couple of special people in my life, and one was a mentor who said, "I believe in you, and you can do this." And so I'll give a lot of credit to those people. A couple of women specifically that spoke into me and said, like, "There's more for you. You can do more." And I needed that push. So I think hopefully the woman listening to this who needs a push will hear her sign, and just stop being freaking afraid and get out of her way and just forget about the doubt and just you got to jump sometimes.
100%. I so relate to that. And I mean, if you've listened to this, I did something similar. I worked in public education for nearly 20 years. So it is, if you are somebody that's listening to this and you're one, if you don't have that team of friends or girlfriends or people that are telling you you can do it, hopefully you hear this and hear that you can, because it takes so much guts to walk away and to start out on your own, or to reinvent yourself or whatever you want to call it. Like, takes so much courage. But once you do it, man, on the other side, it's just so much better in so many
Yep.
ways.
Yeah. Well, I mean, tell us now because, Jenny and I have talked about our own experiences with exercise, fitness. We each have our own routines that we kind of do. But like she was saying, there is just so much misconception out there about what exercise is, especially for women in midlife. So, can you give us like some examples of what that looks like and how it does fit into who we are today with all the kids, the jobs, whatever else, the dogs going on?
Yeah. One thing that I want to be really clear about is that, and I'm 46, so I can speak to this real well, I think, I hope, is that our bodies cannot be treated the same way we treated them in our 20s and 30s. Okay. Like, you wouldn't treat your teenager's body like you did when she was an infant, right? So we have to realize our bodies are going through a transition. There's nothing wrong with us, right? It's normal and healthy to go through this aging process, aging, whatever you want to call that.
Yeah.
And so we just have to pivot. We have to adapt.
Mm.
So our bodies respond to stress differently right now. Okay. So as we transition out of our 30s, think about like your 22-year-old self and how you could like bounce around all week, and then Friday night and then Saturday night and then Sunday morning you could wake up and like go hang with your friends and you'd be fine, right?
Mm.
So we can't do that anymore. We
Nope.
have different response times in our body. So we require a little more sleep. We require time to unwind and de-stress so our bodies can recover from our workouts. That often goes unnoticed. And that's hard to do, right? Because the kids want you to go and do things, and your spouse expects of you, and the job demands. And so your time, we used to have all this time, your window of time, free time to take care of yourself shrinks. So what I think I just want to make sure everyone understands is that you have to treat your body differently, and you have to get efficient with your workouts. So I used to do these hour-long workouts at the gym, and they were polished and balanced and perfect and all the things. And we have to release the perfection idea
Yeah.
in our fitness and wellness now, and we have to replace it with consistency. And so I'm telling people, if you don't have time for all the cardio, great. You don't have to do all that cardio anymore. Release it.
Yeah.
Okay? Um, we need to be doing strength training,
Mhm.
and we need to support it with protein. And we need to get dang consistent. It doesn't have to be um, every single day, and it shouldn't because your body needs recovery more than ever. We need 3 to 5 good workouts in a week. And you know what? If you're overwhelmed, let's make them 10-minute workouts,
Mm,
10 minutes.
mhm.
Because what I see all the time is there's this huge barrier to success from women putting this pressure on themselves to do long workouts still. And we don't have the time. And then so there's a cycle of, gosh, I'm trying to get to my class, for example, and it's an
Mhm.
hour long and it's 15 minutes to drive there and park and I have to change.
Yep.
And then I have to like get changed back and like drive home or drive to the office or pick up the kids. And then by the time it's all said and done, we've spent 2 hours on our workout when we could have just gotten it done and moved on.
Yep.
And then so we get sick of that cycle. It's exhausting to put that much time in every day. And then we don't recover well and we don't fuel our bodies well afterwards. And so we feel like crap. We're sore, we're tired,
Mhm.
hormones are wacky because we're again not letting our muscles recover. And then so we don't like it. We don't feel good and we don't do it anymore. So we're not consistent. So we feel like failures. So that's the biggest thing. Pivot.
1,000%. You just described exactly. I used to be that person that went to the Orange Theory, did the hour class, and it was great for that time in my life because it provided structure. It was 5 minutes from my house. It was a way to get out of the house, quite honestly, at the time I needed that. It does not serve me anymore. And so a couple years ago, I transitioned to just working out at home using my iPad and the weights and things that we have here, and people all the time and I mean, Sarah will tell you, I'm pretty consistent with it, and, um, people all the time say, "How do you do that?" And I'm like, "Because I don't wanna spend 2 hours navigating an hour-long gym class." Like, the time is so precious right now that if I can knock it out in 30 minutes between 6:30 and 7 in the morning, I'm done, and I've just set the whole day up for success. I mean, that's sort of my mindset around, movement first thing in the morning. And so it is like, I think it's so important that we realize that just because that served us at one point in our life, that doesn't mean that we have to do that forever in order to achieve whatever look we're going for, right? That was right for that time in our life, and now it might be time to do something different.
My gosh, yeah. And there are seasons of life too where you need to be in a gym or in a class because the socialization is crucial. Because you
Absolutely.
don't have kids under your feet or that you're chasing after and or needing to spend quality time with anymore. So I think that's important too. I mean, just like a professional athlete, they cycle, right? Through their career and also through the year, through the seasonal year. You know, they have seasons where they're training, seasons where it's off season, they're in, game season. So being able to recognize I have to have a different expectation for myself in this season, like where you are right now, where you do the home workouts that are short. That's what is efficient for you in this stage of life. And so we have to like release the expectation that it has to always be the same forever. And we have to get to Orange Theory or, the
Right.
gym
The
or wherever.
hardest class out there, the hot yoga or Pilates, like that's
Yeah.
great if that is serving you. But it
Mhm.
doesn't fit everybody's needs.
Not always, not all the time.
Yeah. Love Orange Theory. No hate, no shade. Love it.
I know, right? I do. I love them too. I love all my fitness instructor friends, all my hot yoga friends.
Right.
Oh,
Right,
much
right.
love because you're in the pack, right?
That's right, yeah. I'm the studio girl still. I still have I can work out at home, but for me, it is having that socialization piece. But whenever we're talking about this stuff, like, how do you then work with somebody that just feels like they don't have the time for themselves to reframe their mind and find that time? And what specifically do you kind of encourage them to do with that?
So we get really granular. I say, what can you do on your worst day? The
Mm,
day that you feel like you have not an inch to breathe. We have to find that baseline level of activity and the baseline habits that we can keep in place, right? So for some people, I was just working with a successful woman the other day. She's a business owner. She really hates exercise. So that's a barrier in itself.
Yeah.
But also she knows because of some health risks that she has, it's not really an option. She has to do something,
Mhm.
but she doesn't want her business to suffer and she doesn't want her home life to suffer. And so we made some really slight changes. We parked her car a block away so that she has to walk into the office. We got her a walking pad in her office so that she can, when she has a call with a client that can be a walking meeting, she
Huh?
can just stand up and walk slow in the walking pad and get some extra movement into the day. We put some small dumbbells beside her desk so that when she has a break between patients, between clients, she can grab the dumbbells. And I gave her just a few simple little 1 minute workouts that she can do kind of sprinkled throughout the day. I call them bite-sized workouts.
Mhm.
Sometimes we just need a bite, right? And so that's what I did. And so I like to personalize every client's routine so that it fits their need and fits their routine because everybody's a little different, especially in 2026. Like some people work hybrid, some people work from home, some people are in an
Right.
office all day or in a classroom or in a hospital. And so
Mhm.
everybody's routine is a little bit different. So we got to get really, really basic sometimes. And sometimes it starts with a bite-sized workout.
I love
And do
that.
you give like a schedule of like, okay, you're going to do this bite-sized workout 3 times a week and have them like actually write it on a calendar? Is that part of the process?
Yes, and quite often, calendaring the workout is the first step.
Okay.
They just think, "Oh, I'm gonna get the workout in at some point during this week," and we stop right there,
Yeah.
and we open the calendar,
Yeah.
and I say, "Okay, where's the time slot? Put it in right now. Put it on the calendar because if it's not there, it's not an appointment. It's not
Mm-mm.
a meeting. It's not a priority. Everything that's a priority is written down on your calendar, whether
That's
it be
right.
on your refrigerator or in your, on your phone. Prioritize the workout. So block the time. And then from there, sometimes we need to set an alarm. Sometimes we need to get up in the morning, set the alarm. That workout is happening at 8 a.m. or noon or 6 p.m., whatever. And we need some cues. We need some triggers that are going to shake us out of our busyness. And so, those are big things. And sometimes I'll give a very specific list of workouts for the week. And other times they're going to commit to, okay, I want to go to my yoga class like Sarah. I love those
Mhm.
yoga people. I want to get in there with them or Pilates, once or twice a week. So we calendar those and I hold them accountable for actually showing up for those classes. I do phone coaching sessions each week with my clients. And so um, they know I'm going to call and say, did you get to those classes you committed to?
Yeah.
And in between times, did you go out and do your 20-minute walk by yourself or with your husband or whatever?
Yeah.
And also, did you do your bite sized workout? I also have a 10-minute video library so they can pull a 10-minute workout and watch it on their computer and follow along with me. So they have that option too. So no excuses,
No
lots
excuses.
of options.
And what a
It's
great
so
resource
true.
for people, just that accountability. If you don't I'm very fortunate to have a husband that's very into health and fitness as well, and so we kind of we're that accountability. We're like, "Did you," he gets home from the gym usually by 6:30, and I press play by 6:30 because 'cause I'll be damned if he's gonna walk in from his workout and I haven't even started mine, right? Like, ain't happening. And so, but not everybody has that situation. And so, like, to have somebody that is going to say, hey, did you press play? Did you get the walk in? Because it really just is about starting. And I'm going to guess you kind of get people starting, you get the momentum going. And then once it becomes part of their lifestyle, they may not need the constant check ins or the accountability, but it's no different than how we shape behavior in children or animal. I mean, it's saying that you're building a habit, you're building a behavior. Once it's established, you can sort of back off a little bit. It's not like they need that forever. Is that right?
Well, so I have a mix, but here's the thing. Like, I want to work with them on a consistent weekly basis until they just start automatically doing the thing,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Like you said, the reinforcement starts with, I'm calling you and we're celebrating. You did the things this week. I send them an electronic tracker each week so I can see what they're typing in, what they're doing each week, how consistent they feel, anything that's given them trouble, any wins that they want to celebrate, do our calls. So I can kind of see what's going on through their week. But then that call is about celebrating them. And I find especially women just do that. Like they have a hard time prioritizing it. So and not everybody has a supportive spouse who's like,
Right.
yeah, babe, you got to make time for this.
Yeah.
A lot of women don't, which frustrates the crap out of me. It's
Yeah.
really hard. So having the call with me is huge. And then once they start to feel better, once they start to notice their blood
Yeah.
sugar is a little more balanced, the energy is a little more level through the day, clothes are starting to fit a bit looser. They feel more confident. They feel sexier.
Yeah.
When they get those rewards, they don't need me as much.
Yeah.
So I do have some people who need a little more ongoing accountability. I try to sort of wean them. But yeah, my goal is that the actions that are good for them become habits, and then they get their own really intrinsic reward, so that they
Absolutely.
don't have to be celebrated quite so often intentionally with a phone call. So yeah,
It's so similar
it's a
to
great question.
shaping behavior. It really is. I think about how we shape behaviors in kids, like in the school setting, for example, and very similar, right? It's a lot of reinforcement in the beginning, but then once it's established, you sort of peel back that reinforcement because then you want that intrinsic motivation. That's so hard for people to understand. The external rewards does eventually lead to intrinsic motivation.
Mhm.
But that's really hard for people to understand that.
That's a conversation I have with my daughters because we just do a little 1 minute workout in the mornings together.
Yeah.
And my
Mm.
14-year-old the other day, she said, because we had missed it, which is really rare for us. We got busy and our hair was on fire and we were trying to get to school on time. And the next day she was like, "Oh my gosh, like I noticed that I feel like so much more energized when I get to school in the morning."
Mhm.
We do our morning 50. That's what we call it. And so I said, "Isn't it amazing? Like how much a little bit of exercise can boost your mood in the morning?" And I mean, girl, you need a good mood for middle school. I mean, come
Oh,
on, like
Right.
amen.
we got to go in there strong
Amen.
and fortified. That's not an easy place
That's
to
right.
exist, right?
For anybody.
So yeah, so that's what I wanna teach, my girls, just like teaching my clients. Like, we have got to, like, pause and notice, "This is how I feel when I do this good thing for me,"
Mhm.
and reinforce that. Be mindful of that moment when it's like, "Oh, I feel so much better," or, "I don't feel good when I miss that healthy behavior." So, yeah, it gotta be reinforced.
I'm gonna use that
Yeah.
with my own kids because it is about I mean, like, my kids had track this morning, so I'll be curious to know, like, this they're getting back into track season, but they do it before school. So I am curious, like, was your day better? Are have more energy? Those types of things. But I wanna ask you 2 big questions that I had. We'll kind of pivot a little bit from exercise and talk about diet and metabolism because I think you do like like some sort of metabolism reset. I've admittedly tried all the diets. I mean, very similar to you. I mean, I was working out as a child, as a teenager, and then not really dieting. But then as I became a young adult, lots of diets, lots of Whole 30s, um, plant-based diets. Like I've tried it all. If it's on the market, I've probably tried it, right? I've yo-yo dieted to remain relatively consistent in my weight. So I'm genuinely curious, can we reset a metabolism that has been yo-yoed for 3 decades?
So, the real answer is yes, but it's not like flipping a light switch.
Okay.
Some people think I can just like wake up one day and start doing everything perfectly for my health, and then I'll just feel amazing. So what happens is oftentimes when we've been through a cycle, even years and years, decades and decades of maybe calorie restriction or a certain macro restriction, our bodies are real smart and they will adapt. So especially if you've been restricting calories, your metabolism will naturally try to slow down and conserve energy. So that's a big thing that we have to do is we just have to reset our metabolism. We have to fuel our bodies well and fuel our bodies consistently. And so when people notice, so I work with a lot of people and from the nutrition side too, just from a metabolic standpoint. When people notice, oh, okay, well, I eat low glycemic foods and nutrient dense foods frequently throughout the day and more small meals, I notice that my blood sugar stays more balanced. I don't have
Mhm.
the highs and the crashes. When we can just do that simple act, we feel so much better. Our energy is more level and we're more efficient. And the other big thing is just consuming enough protein fortifies our muscles. And our muscles being you know quality is not the right word, but when we have enough lean muscle mass, our metabolism goes up. And so that's another big thing. Of a lot of times diets that are very restrictive or even exercise programs that are restrictive can eat away at our lean muscle mass. And so that naturally drops the metabolisms. But guess what? We can rebound those muscles. So I'm not sure if this answers your question exactly, but we really just need to make sure we're protecting our muscles. And that alone will kickstart the metabolism. And then also, if we're carrying extra body fat, specifically visceral body fat, then we really have to make sure that we help to get that back into a healthy range so that our hormones can function properly.
Okay.
So those are kind of the big things that impact our metabolic reset when we're needing that. Yeah.
Good news.
Does Yeah, doesn't sleep also play a pretty big role within our metabolism as well? And I think that that's one of the things I've heard you talk about as well is the importance of consistency and then finding a good way to get quality sleep.
Mm.
Yes. And some people say to me, should I just add more workouts or should I just cut calories, cut carbs even more? And oftentimes I'll come back with, can we just get to bed 30 minutes earlier? Can we
Yeah.
just get some sleep so that you can recover?
Yeah.
And so just for starters off the bat, that extra sleep can allow you to make better decisions,
Mm.
can clear some brain fog, can help to provide more energy throughout the day. If you're not super fatigued, your mental clarity is so much better. And then also your muscles have time to recover. We don't recover as quickly, especially women in perimenopause and menopause. We have to give a little extra time for muscle recovery. And so when we sleep, our bodies do that best. That's the time when they're healing and restoring. And so if we don't give enough time, you'll notice if you do a hard workout and then you have poor sleep for even just a night, you will be more sore the next day
Mm.
because that's when that muscle recovery happens. And so for some people, I can tell them, I want you to go to bed 30 minutes earlier, and they will do that. But for many of us, we need a routine. We need to create a literal bedtime routine for ourselves, like we did for our babies, right?
Yeah.
And that's a great thing to do. So if someone's like a little overwhelmed right now, like where should I even start? Start by getting a bedtime routine in place so you can get to bed. Like we knew it was great for the health of our kids when they were tiny, even now when they're a little older. It's no different for us. We need to give ourselves a bedtime routine. We need to have a wind down period where we get off a screen. We need to have a time where we maybe do some gentle stretching or deep breathing. I always like to read something affirming, and it can be spiritual or it can just be something relaxing that just lets your mind, go. And maybe do a dump list. The things that I'm worried about today and that are on my mind for tomorrow, I'm just going to dump them in a piece of paper and shove it to the side so I don't have to go to bed worrying. There are lots of things you can do to implement a really strong bedtime routine, and that will improve the quality of your sleep. And even if 30 minutes sounds daunting, I know, especially if you have little ones, it's hard to get to bed. Then back it up 10 minutes, 15 minutes whenever you're getting yourself in bed. And yeah, create a bedtime for yourself because it will make everything work more efficiently the next day in your health habits, and in your physiology.
I am a lover of sleep, always have been, and this is something that we talk about a lot. Like, my girlfriends and I will talk about this because we all sort of went through this. I think I was about 38 when I started to experience it. I can sleep with the best of them. I can go to bed at 8. I can take a 3-hour nap and still go to bed at 8 PM. Like, if there was
Nice.
an Olympic sport for sleeping, I could win a gold medal. But around 38, I could fall asleep, but I would wake up at 2, 3 AM, and then I couldn't fall back asleep, and so, naturally, I was getting I'm used to sleeping 9 to 5 is, like, my golden sleep time, but I was getting, 2 to 3 hours less sleep just from that natural, wake up, and then you're sort of ruminating, and you're trying to fall back asleep, and you can't fall back asleep. For me personally, I definitely think that, um, going on progesterone as a hormone replacement has been helpful with that. I still wake up, but I do fall back asleep. But do you have any other, besides somebody that maybe isn't ready to look at HRT, is there any other sort of tricks that you have for waking up and not being able to fall back asleep?
So a simple thing that anyone can try is just consuming a protein snack before bed.
Okay.
Just having just or any small snack, because oftentimes we go to bed and it's the drop in blood sugar that naturally happens in the middle of the night that will wake us. That's
Okay.
like a survival mechanism. um, so oftentimes we need to say, okay, let me give myself a bedtime snack, and then you'll have a little more blood sugar balance throughout the night, and that should help to improve the waking. the middle of the night waking as well. And I also let people know they need to really be mindful, especially later in life, of the caffeine consumption. So, I mean, I love coffee like real a lot. Like, I just love it. Okay. So, me there. You could drink it all day, but you have got to cut yourself off earlier, oftentimes as our bodies change. And so that's a thing too, so that you can get better quality sleep. And sometimes too, if you wake up, because let's be honest, when we're 46 years old, we have a lot on our mind. We have a
Yes.
full plate. We have, kids to worry about, parents to worry about, jobs and health changing and all the things. So you might just need to take a minute to get up out of bed and write down a couple of things that are worrying you or a couple of intentions for the next day that can get you put you back at ease. Sometimes I like to write what my wins are going to be for tomorrow.
Hmm.
Just
To
face
keep
the
it
worry, and I'll
positive.
just yep, and I'll just say, okay, like let's screw the worries. Let's just say, here's what I intend to accomplish tomorrow. Here's what
Yeah.
I'm going to be real proud of if I can get done. And so sometimes you can just shift your brain to a calmer state by doing that.
Mhm.
Actual writing it out, seeing it on paper. I'm not like talking about on your phone. I think that's detrimental if you wake up in the middle of the night, you grab the phone and you start scrolling. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Game over.
Mhm.
You're never going back to
Forget about
sleep,
it. That's
right?
not cool. That's not okay.
Uh-uh.
So yeah, grab a piece of paper and write down a few thoughts and then try to reset yourself back to sleep. But yeah, grab a snack before bed. Yeah.
You never hear I've never heard that advice, or if I have, it didn't stick. But that makes so much sense. And just listening to what you've said so far and what little bit I know, and Sarah is an expert on blood sugar. Obviously, she constantly has to pay attention to hers. But if you don't have
Yeah.
diabetes, it's not something that we're thinking about is like, I mean, other than when I become a raging lunatic because I'm hungry, I'm not like, oh, is my blood sugar low? Like in the middle of the day, or maybe I'm waking up. Like that's not something that's ever entered my thought process with that. So it really does seem to be a huge piece to the puzzle is keeping the blood sugar level, which
Yeah,
I
100%.
never really thought about that.
And a lot of folks are using non-diabetics are using continuous glucose monitors to change their habits. You can Google
To,
that. There's a whole
yeah.
whole world out there. People are using the monitors to be able to become mindful of foods that spike the blood sugar
Hmm.
so that they can keep the blood sugar stable. It stabilizes mood, it stabilizes weight. Lots of really cool
I
benefits. That's not something I'm currently doing, but I have clients who are experimenting with that.
I did read a book once. There's this glucose goddess, Jessie, a French woman. Anyway, I did read her book, and it does talk a lot about it was more about like prevention of like health issues by like maintaining your blood sugar. And she did talk about like drinking apple cider vinegar before you eat a meal, or eating like your vegetables on your plate before you eat it was like vegetables and then protein and then carbohydrates, or maybe I got those backwards. But I haven't that was what, 5 years ago, Sarah, I think, when I was talking about that. I haven't
Mhm.
revisited that, but that seems to be coming up a lot in conversations lately about blood sugar and how it relates to our like you said that earlier, your hormones are more efficient, or maybe they more effective if your blood sugar is remaining fairly stable.
Well, I have some fun rapid fire questions if we can get to this. All right. So, what is something that we think is healthy but isn't?
Um, Excessive cardio, that's a big one. Oh my gosh. Excessive fasted cardio. Oh my gosh, it makes me cringe. So if you're busy on short on time, you're a busy person especially, and you can just pick one form of exercise, just do some strength training. I love cardio. Fill in walking anywhere you can. If you love to run, do some running. That's fine. I'm not saying that that's bad, but prioritizing the cardio and making it excessive. That is a common problem, and a lot of people don't allow rest after they don't allow enough rest after cardio. And so you're just really you're not recovering and your body cannot efficiently benefit from the cardio. So take it easy and eat some protein. Oh my gosh. Have a little protein before, a little protein after, and you can get more out of your workout.
Such a mindset shift for our age group, don't you? I mean, do you all agree? I feel like we were just bombarded with
Yeah.
cardio or nothing. And, it's like now it's totally different. It's like absolute yes, cardio is important, but, like, walking can fulfill that. You don't need to go run a marathon or be on an elliptical for an hour. Because I was that person doing the elliptical for an hour in
Right.
my
I mean, it's
20s,
really
right?
not best for our body or our mind because
No,
then
it's
we, again,
boring.
circle back, we shame and guilt ourselves because we're doing these long workouts and we're away from our kids. And then we run out of time and then we skip it and then we feel bad because we skipped a workout. So for a lot of different reasons, it's not best for most women.
And
Mhm.
I don't
That
know
is
about
so
y'all,
true.
but cardio makes me insanely hungry. If I go for a run versus if I do 30 minutes of strength training, I'm gonna eat all day after that run. I don't know if that's just me personally or or that's how everyone feels, but running makes me
Mhm.
I hear that
hungry
a
as
lot.
fuck.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay, well, here's another one. What is the most common thing that you see that derails somebody off of their wellness or health and fitness routine?
Mm,
I'll go back to probably not asking for accountability.
mm,
So that's where I come in. When someone has the best intentions and they start doing their own thing without declaring it to either a success buddy, maybe just a friend or a neighbor, even if it's someone who lives 4 states away, um, your likelihood of staying consistent is so much lower.
mm,
So when I'm working with someone, I am checking in to make sure they do the thing they tell me they're going to do and make sure the things they're doing all week align with their goals they shared with me. So I think that's a huge mistake. If you try to do it in the dark, you're not going to be as successful. Like shine some light on your goals so that you can be held accountable. Don't be afraid. Don't be embarrassed. Don't hate yourself. Put it out there. This is where I am in my health. Own it.
mhm,
Here's where I want to be in my health
mhm,
and share it so people can help you get there.
mm,
We are not meant to do it alone.
mhm,
That's such great advice. And yeah, you just get so much out of having that person there, the support, the venting, the problem solving, the cheerleader, the total package comes whenever you have that accountability partner for sure. All right, another question. I've been hearing this a lot, reading a lot, and I don't quite understand it. So I'm totally dependent upon your expertise on this. I see that doing strength based training is so important for women who are in perimenopause or menopause, more so than maybe other periods of our life. Why?
Well, because our bodies naturally have less lean muscle as we age. Like that's just a result. Like, I mean, look at your grandma, your great grandma.
mhm,
Like they get like small and soft, right?
mhm,
So if we're not doing anything to counteract that, then we're in trouble. Because again, it goes back to metabolism. Less lean muscle means lower metabolism. So we are just naturally losing lean muscle,
mhm,
period. And also, as we're busier, we, many people, don't work out as much. So if you're not strength training to stimulate the muscle to build, and I'm not talking about bodybuilding, I'm talking about just staying lean and strong.
yeah,
If that muscle's not stimulated, then it it's going to decline. So, I mean, I went through a period with my second daughter where I went several months after she was born. I think it was 6 months before I did a workout. Um, and that was really, part of it was where I was in my career, needing to break away so that I could prioritize family.
yeah,
But I remember thinking, oh, how do people live like this? This is a thing. Like
right,
a lot of people just go months and months and never work out. And for me, I got back in again. I had to give myself a little bit extra grace period because I was so busy and I also had a toddler and I was overwhelmed. And so, I can see how someone gets in that period of just that season or that rut of just sitting a lot.
Yeah.
And then so, yeah, the muscles get less, like literally physiologically less muscle on our body. And then the metabolism goes down. And then so we're weaker and our energy is lower. So then we don't feel the motivation to get up and move and run and
mhm.
play with the kids or, take the walk or go to the class. So it's a
Hmm.
cycle.
Absolutely, and, to that like, on that same note, I'm thinking about and we could do a whole podcast on this conversation alone, but, like, I know a lot of people that are on GLP-1s currently, and I think that sometimes, like, my observation from the outside is that, like, that's the only thing that is they're doing to lose weight, right? They're not doing some sort of weight bearing exercise or lift it or any kind of like heavy lifting or anything like that. And so, my question is, do you work with people that are on GLP-1s? And if you do, are you recommending weight training? I mean, I'm guessing probably cardio is not necessary, but like, are you working with people that are on GLP-1s? So let's start with that.
Yes, I have a whole program for that
You do.
because
Okay.
it's so commonplace these days. Yeah,
Yeah.
and when I do a health assessment with someone brand new comes to me and is curious about working with me and wonders about my services, I do a health assessment call and we talk about like where are you in your health right now? What are your habits? What are concerns that your doctor has? What kind of medications you're on? And I ask that question standard across the board now because it's so commonplace. And so there's no shame in it. It
Mm-mm.
is a pretty amazing medication that has a lot of uses. And so, what we do is we prioritize that person getting enough protein because a lot of people do try to do it without lifestyle intervention and it does not work long term and is not healthy. Now, it gets them out of that critical place of, typically the blood pressure is high, maybe morbid obesity, they can't move,
Right.
and, maybe high cholesterol, A1Cs everywhere. And so, it can get them out of that, like it can triage, right?
Mhm.
But it's not a long-term fix for their health.
Right.
And so what we do is we talk about getting enough nutrition because it's hard when your brain is saying, I'm not hungry. It's
Yeah.
hard to make sure you eat, right?
Right.
Even if you're a person who have chronically doesn't have a great relationship with food. So we get them on a structured nutrition plan and, you know, create mindful choices around healthy eating. And then also we start doing some street training
Yeah.
and often it is, I just I've not been motivated because I haven't felt good about myself.
Yeah.
And so we've got to get over that mental barrier. And then also I feel I've always felt awkward in the gym or I haven't gone to the gym in a long time because I've been too busy. And so tell me what to do then.
Mhm.
What? What do I do in the gym or at home so I don't have to go to the gym and get, uncomfortable there. So, yeah, definitely some strength training, definitely prioritize all the health habits. Let's get you on a good sleep routine so your body can recover because we're going to stimulate with all these workouts and
Yeah.
with more food. And so, yeah, coach a lot of people on GLPs, and sometimes they're scared to tell me that they're
Yeah.
doing that. And no, listen, girl, you are not taking the easy way out. It
No.
is not
Mhm.
easy to take a GLP. So we just need to shore you up, to fortify you so you can get the most out of it. You're already doing it. So yeah,
What a great option for
really.
people that are accessing that medication because we've had people or we've had someone on the podcast talking about GLP-1s, and we both agree, like, it's great, and I've seen it impact neighbors and friends and have positive impact, but we always go back to you still have to at some point make some real lifestyle changes, and a lot of it is the same stuff that we're kinda talking about and doing day in and day out.
Well, and you mentioned this, and so I think it's important for the listeners to know about you is that they don't have to have a referral to get to you for your services. Like I see your videos that you post on like social media, you do these fun little clips and things like that. So if someone is listening and wants to reach out, they found this is to be like their tool, they needed that accountability partner, how do they find you?
Yeah, so I love social media for that purpose. I always say you can use it for good when you want to, right? When
Yeah.
you really try hard.
Mhm.
And so I get a lot of just messages on Instagram or Facebook, and someone says, I've been following you and I'm kind of curious and I want to ask for more information. So I always welcome that. Yeah, don't just scroll, like stop and have a
Mhm.
conversation with me. Always just have a conversation, even if it might not be a fit. And then I have a website, so they can go to my website, subscribe to my newsletter I send each week with some health tips, or they can, sign up for my services there. But oftentimes, the best thing to do is just shoot me a message and just say, hey, like, here are my questions. Here, is this for me? Is it not? And that's a great way to connect for sure. Yeah.
What's the website?
It's heatherforhealth.podia.com.
Love it.
So for as in FOR, heatherforhealth.podia.com.
Being consistent is hard work, and, um, I don't ever want to, like, make it seem like, "Oh, just do this and do that." Like, it's so easy, right? Like, no, it is hard to be consistent as much as we
Mhm.
try. Like, that's the work, in my opinion. It's not the workout that's the work, is the consistency. And, yeah, I mean, it always boils back to blood sugar, being consistent, and protein.
Protein.
Uh, always
And
comes back to protein.
releasing perfection,
Yes.
right? Release perfection. Health coaches' orders, like, stop the shame and the blame and ask for help, ask for accountability. If your brain is so fried that you can't, like, even think of what structure would look like in your
Yeah,
health habits, you need someone to help you.
yeah.
You need the guidance. That's okay. There's no shame in being vulnerable and saying, "I'm a mess. Help me to get
Mhm,
organized. Help me to get
Mhm.
my mind right." And hold me accountable for my healthy actions.
I could
Mhm.
see that being particularly hard for somebody who maybe was like an athlete in their youth or even like in college and like they were like the picture of health and then maybe like they went through, childbearing and things like that. And then like to then admit you need help at something you used to be really, really strong and diligent at. I could see that being hard.
Well,
Yeah,
and a lot of
yeah.
women, caregivers, caretakers, they're, in a role where they're prioritizing other people.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so I find that a lot of women are just saying, I don't even know how to like look after myself and treat myself as a priority. And I'm like, guess what? If you are not strong, then I mean, think about all these moving parts in your life, all these
Mhm.
people who rely on you.
Yeah.
Right.
What's going to happen to them? I have that come to Jesus with women a lot. I'm like, what is going to
Mhm.
happen to your kids, your husband, your grandkids, your coworkers, your employees
Yeah.
if you end up in the hospital with a heart attack?
Yeah.
Or if you end
Right.
up like so weak and frail that you can't even get up out of your chair, like let's fast forward. Let's prepare today these habits that are going to sustain you to continue to be the rock for the people that expect you to be the rock, right? For
Right.
years to
Mhm.
come. 70 when we're 80. I mean, come on, like we gotta think health span, not
Right.
just like our bubble of our 40s right now.
Well, I like that. Health span is important. And having that base too, let's say the worst happens and you have to have knee replacement surgery. Just because you have a good solid base, your recovery time is going to not be as long. You're not going to have as complicated of an issue because you have a good base. And so thinking
Yes.
now is preventative for later. Maybe not from having something happen, but maybe in making sure that if it does, then your recovery time is going to be so much quicker just because you've done the work.
Yep, absolutely. And if you have to have a surgery, your risk of infection is lower if you're in a healthy body fat range. I mean, being healthy could save your life. Your immune system is stronger.
And
I'd love
we're
for
we're
people.
the example for all these daughters that we're raising, right? We all have a daughter and we are the example. And you, Heather, were so lucky to grow up with parents that were showing you the way. I didn't grow up in that environment, right? And so I really look at it as my opportunity to sort of like show her this is what health looks like. This is what taking care of yourself looks like. And it's not restricting your calories and doing all these things that I spent decades doing, right? It's truly about treating yourself kindly and taking care of yourself, just like we try to take care of everybody around us.
For
Yeah,
sure.
that's something I talk to my daughters about a lot. You've got to look out for yourself. You have to honor your body. You're lucky you were born with a healthy body. You're so fortunate. So, I don't care if you're skinny. It's not about that.
Mm-mm.
I mean, I'm not saying that aesthetics don't have a place. We need to feel confident and sexy, right? Like that's important.
Yeah.
But when I'm talking to my daughters, I say you need to be capable. You need to. Your
Mhm.
body is a tool. It
Mhm.
houses your brain, which is big and strong, and you can accomplish great things in this world. But you got to have this vehicle. You've got to serviced on a regular basis. You got to put the right fuel in it.
Mhm.
Right.
You got to make sure the engine's fine tuned. It's got great tires. Like you have to be strong. This is your house.
Well, I feel
Mhm.
like I could talk to you all day, Heather, just because this is
Mhm.
something we feel very passionately about, but also something, I mean, like I said, these are conversations I'm having with my friends day in and day out. Like we're still trying to figure it all out. But so helpful and knowledgeable, and just to know that you're available. People can use your services and um, can come to you for that accountability because that is like that's how we start is holding people accountable, holding each other accountable. So if you don't have that, make sure you check out Heather Smith. You can find her on Facebook or at heatherforhealth
.podia.com.
podia.com. We'll also link that on the website so that you can find that easily. Thank you so much for coming on today and
Yes.
chatting with Sarah and I.
You're welcome. It's fun. This has been great. It's a really good conversation.
It is.
It's always more fun when you've already got some actual believers in the room. So
Right. The willing coalition.
that's right. It's good stuff. I love it. Yeah, thank you guys so much. Keep up the great work. Really.
All right.
You're helping a lot of work.
Thanks. We have a lot of fun with it. If not, we're helping ourselves and each other, right, Jen?
That's right. It's our mental health and wellness podcast for each other. Um,
Right,
if
right.
you don't already know, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube at Lilas Podcasts, or on our website at lilaspodcast.com. That's all we got for this week, y'all. Until next week, Lilas.
We're out.